And we're live. It worked.
We're live. It always works. It always works.
Except for that one time when you didn't actually hit the button.
Yeah.
Or the one time when I didn't hit the record button. Remember that?
And the whole thing. Yeah.
Let's do that again. Uno mas.
Yes. But you know what? People are watching us right now, Jeff.
Yeah. And you know what? I was making that up about missing the buttons. We're basically perfect at this job.
At this point. I mean, we're so far into it.
Yeah.
Like we're veterans now, right?
Well, somebody was telling me you're not a veteran until after your third rewatch, but I think we're in our 31st episode. I'm checking the box.
Hey, listen, close enough.
Yeah.
Close enough. So with that, YouTube, what's up? Welcome to Jeff and Mine's show here, Babylon 5. For the very first time, we are watching or have watched, and we are about to discuss the season 2 episode, A Race Through Dark Places. Jeff and I have only seen this. We've just seen this for the very first time. And we're going to go through everything really having to do with the episode. Jeff, it is our anticipation. We were talking about this before we hit the button. This might be a little bit on the longer side.
It might be. There's a little bit that happens in this episode.
This episode is chock full. And thank God, because season 2 has been off to a rough start. But man, these last 2 episodes.
All right, we're climbing. We're
getting there. We're absolutely getting there. So with that, well, let's forego all the early stuff, and I'll just simply say, hey guys, thanks for stopping by. Please like, subscribe, all that sort of stuff. What you guys are about to see is the behind the scenes raw recording of how Jeff and I, there we are, record the podcast.
Who's
so
this
you guys, that guy's no one. No one's here on that side.
I know.
You're over there.
Well, maybe there is somebody here, and I just don't know.
Right.
It's just a projection, a psychic projection of some kind that I'm seeing.
So anyway, you guys are going to get the behind the scenes. You're going to get the rabbit trails. You're going to get the outtakes, the bloopers, and all that stuff that Jeff over there is going to cut out of the audio version of the podcast where he's going to, fancy it up. But you guys get the full Monty. So hope you enjoy. Like, subscribe, all that sort of stuff. Jeff, let's go. A Race Through the Dark Places.
This is my first time.
You're new here, aren't you?
First time.
Welcome to Babylon 5 for the first time. My name is Jeff Aiken, and I messed up that intro.
Dang it, Jeff.
Welcome to Babylon 5 for the first time. Not a Star Trek podcast. My name is Jeff Aiken, and I'm watching Babylon 5 for the first time.
And I'm Brent Allen, and I'm also watching Babylon 5 for the very first time. We are 2 veteran Star Trek podcasters watching Babylon 5 for the first time. We're searching for Star Trek-like messages within the series episode by episode, and we're also just trying to decide how much we really like the series watching it for the first time 30 years too late.
And while this is a Babylon 5 podcast, not a Star Trek podcast, like Brent said, we are Star Trek podcasters. So there's a good chance those references are going to come in, especially, I think, maybe in this episode. But to keep us on point, we have the rule of 3. Each of us get 3 references, up to 3, no more, per episode. Once we go over, we got to cut that out. Like, I'll literally cut it out of the episode.
Do you really?
I've never done that. I've threatened it a whole lot. I've never actually, and you've gone over, I think, once.
I think like once or twice, I was like, I don't care. I'm just gonna keep going. I'm gonna blow the whole thing.
I just hit a lot of buttons when it happened. I'm like, no, there's noise, more noise. Well, hey, I want to share. We have a lot of ways that you can interact with us and get in touch with us, right? If you're watching us on YouTube, we have a super active community on there that you can be a part of. We're on Twitter at Babylon First. We have a website, babylon5first.com. That's the number 5 and the word first.com. And you can contact us through that as well. And that's where the first thing I want to share with you, Brent, and everyone else is a really cool email that's timely based on a topic that we talked about here last week.
Oh.
Spoilers.
Okay.
It's not spoilers. It's about spoilers. So I think this will be good. This is from Trent. He went to our website, babylon5first.com. Actually, no, I'm lying to you. He actually sent us an email to our email address, babylon5first@gmail.com. You can do the same. But he says, or he asks, do you guys consider behind-the-scenes production notes spoilers? I can send you some of the current episode or backwards-looking notes from Lurker's Guide if you want. Otherwise, I'll keep you guys as pure as possible. I don't want to ruin your virgin takes on the show. It is so enjoyable to re-experience one of my favorite shows through your unspoiled eyes. What do you think about that one?
While I think that in general, no, it would not be a spoiler, especially if it doesn't refer. I think the two things: refer to events that happen in the future, or refer to knowledge that we don't necessarily have yet. You know what I mean? Like, I think those are the two litmus tests. If we don't have knowledge of how the Great Council is comprised yet, then we don't need to know how the Great Council is comprised.
Yeah.
Just let us live in our ignorance. It's fine. So I would say it's not a spoiler, but I think on a preference level though, Jeff, and I'm just speaking for me, not for you, so you chime in on this. I think I would prefer to have that when I go through a rewatch, not necessarily on a first watch. Some of it might be fun, but like a part of like, I don't necessarily care to be bogged down with production ideas. You know what I mean? Like, I just want to catch the story. I think I could be convinced to not.
Yeah, I don't think that's the hard thing with this is it's not just a cut and dry binary kind of thing. You know? Like one of the things we heard that I think was really helpful for me about season 1, because season 1 was wildly inconsistent in so many ways. But one of the reasons for that is people shared with us that they shot the episodes out of order so they'd have enough budget left over for the Big Bang episodes that they did. Cool. That's awesome. You didn't tell me anything. It's about the production world. That's interesting to me. And it also helps me understand, why some of the actors had slightly different takes on their characters that was weird. Oh yeah, because that's how they filmed it. That's fine. But I think like that Grey Council makeup is a perfect example. I think like when it bleeds. Well, here's another one. We still hear this one quite a bit. Hey, did you know that Garibaldi and Talia Winters in real life were married for a while? I mean, it's interesting and it's cool. I kind of wish I didn't know that. Like I watch their interactions on screen differently now that I know that. Garibaldi went from creep, like those scenes went from creepy and weird to kind of funny and sweet.
They're kind of flirtatious now. Like, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Yeah.
I don't think they're supposed to be that way. Or maybe they are. I don't want them. I want it to be just I'm dude sitting in, what was it on? P10 or whatever back in the day. Like I just want to be dude watching it on there without the annoying commercials.
Right. Yeah, I mean that particular example is one like I'm fine. It doesn't enhance or detract like that one particular thing. The Garibaldi and Talia Winters thing. Yeah, again, like I say, if it mentions, events that happen in the future or knowledge that we don't yet have, which the thing about that, for those of you out there who have watched this show before, it can be really hard to remember what you don't know at this point of the story yet. And so that's where that can draw a line. So I would generally say no thanks. But I appreciate the offer. And please, if Jeff and I wind up doing a rewatch of this, like hey, let's go through it again for a second time, Babylon 5 for the second time, right? If we do that, then I want all the behind the scenes information.
Totally.
All of it. I buy DVDs, not for the movie, but for the special features that you can't get from a digital download. Like I love the special features. I love all the background stuff. Maybe just not for this particular run.
Yeah. Keep us as, what does he say, as pure as possible.
Yes. But thank you so much for the offer. And honestly, thanks for asking.
Totally. It's perfect.
And thanks for being worried about the spoilers.
On YouTube, Michael Hirema had a really cool thing that he talked about. We've been talking since, I think like the first or second episode of this show about apparently you can just beat people up on Babylon 5. It's fine. He says, with all the fighting and lack of charges, I kind of see Babylon 5 like a frontier town. especially with all the different races and very different customs hanging out in a limited space and a lack of manners among those not in green sector. What looks like a vicious assault to us might just be a spirited culinary debate among a couple of Pakmara. As long as no lasting damage is done, I can see security letting a lot slide with the understanding that if they do have to get involved, they'll finish it quickly and no one will be happy.
I could agree with that if it's not a town of 250,000 people.
Yeah.
If you're a town of like 200 people, I get it. 250,000, you got to have a little more, shall we say, law and order. Here's my question out of that whole email, though. Jeff, do we know what green sector is?
Yeah. Green.
What is green sector?
That's like the cool, I think that's the ambassador ring, right?
Oh, is it? Oh, okay.
Yeah. Like that's the high class spot.
Because I know there's the brown sector.
And blue,
which by the way, would be hilarious if that was like the sewer line. Be the brown sector.
If Babylon 5 were written by 12-year-old boys. Right.
No, Jeff, I am not joking. Walt Disney World. In Walt Disney World, there is a land called Liberty Square. I don't know if you're familiar with it.
Mm-hmm.
All of the concrete throughout Walt Disney World is red for some stupid reason. Except for in Liberty Square, there is a cobblestone path running through the red concrete. Do you know why?
Why?
Because that is the symbolic of the river of poop that people back in the colonial days would just throw their bedpans out of the window into the street. And it would just be, that's what that is. Like legitimately what that is. So take back your 12-year-old boy comment because.
Well, I feel like, people tend to get pretty riled up about, when we take some statues down and stuff, people get riled up about, losing our history and glossing over it. Mm-hmm. I think there are parts of it that it might be okay to gloss over, and rivers of human feces might be one of those things we can just gloss right over. Well, that's all I got for stuff on this one.
Well, Jeff, since that's all you've got, I've got something for you.
Oh, sweet.
I've got the rule of 3. This is a game that we like to play right here at Babylon 5 for the very first time. Nope, I'm sorry. Let me take that back.
Yeah, you should do. Yeah, and I'm even looking at the copy on the note, and it's a little weird to read.
Yeah, we should rewrite that.
Yeah.
See, YouTube, you get the behind the scenes outtakes. Well, Jeff, since that's all you got, I got something for you.
All right.
We like to play our game like the rule of 3. Well, here I've got another game just for you and me. It's another game we like to play where when we get to the end of the episode, we like to guess what next week's title is. So since this episode is over now, Jeff. Oh, no. Sorry. This is actually the spot where we revisit what we did last week into this week. And so, Jeff, last week we made a guess, a blind guess. I swear to heaven almighty, Jeff, we do not watch the episodes ahead. We do not read show descriptions. We do nothing but see the title of next week's episode. And I don't even look at that title until you mention it at the end of the episode. I swear, hand on whatever holy book or not holy book you would like for me to put that hand on. That's how the game is played. And we make a prediction based on that alone. Jeff, let's revisit it and see how accurate we were. What did you say last week you thought A Race Through the Dark Places was going to be?
So there's what I thought, right? It's some Kefir thing, actually racing through hyperspace and looking at things. But Brent, for someone who has never looked ahead at this or watched this before, you hit some pretty obscure and very specific plot points very exactly in a way that this is what, 2 weeks in a row now, right? Soulmates was pretty close beat to beat, and this one, I think it's time we have this this conversation, because like this is a well-written show, like, right? But I mean, wow.
Listen, this was no episode called Parliament of Dreams where it was neither about a parliament nor a dream. True. But Jeff, just let's get technical about this, because if I recall, what I actually said was this episode could not be about Bester, could it? It couldn't be about Bester. And so I say no. I did not call Bester being in this episode. In fact, what I did say is I said this episode would be about Franklin. It would center on Franklin dealing with some sort of an ethical problem. And while this certainly had an element of Franklin in it, it was a really minor part of the whole episode. It didn't center on him. And frankly, if you took him out of it, the episode wouldn't have changed at all. And I'm not really sure that it was an ethical thing because he was just doing the right thing. He was doing the right thing.
Doing the right thing that was against the law.
Okay,
clearly, to the point that Garibaldi was even, it was about, and your whole thing was, it's going to be a Psychor thing. I'm like, there's no way it can be a Psych. They just had a Psychor episode, right? And then there's no, I mean, I want Bester. It's got to have Bester. There's no way it could have Bester. And I'm like, there's no way. Yeah, you're right. There is no, but here we are.
Listen, maybe what it is actually JMS was seeding these previous episodes to get you already, like he's doing that Inception thing where he's planting the thoughts in your mind where it's like, it's about time we go have a visit from that dude Bester and we find out what's going on with Talia's little gift that she got from, now we've been talking about that for weeks. Is they dropped that storyline, we haven't heard about it, we got to come back to it. We've been saying that for weeks now.
So literally what you're saying is you are the target audience for JMS, and everything he wrote was literally for you to go, I can do this math. Like I'm totally Russell Crowe, beautiful minding this whole thing.
I will 100% own everything you just said. I am the target audience for this show. Yes.
Well, I don't know how to test this. But if we can ever test your psi rating, your P rating, I think we're going to,
it might be that.
Right? Because I'm very clear with mine. It's gone from a -2 to a -4. I'm the opposite of a telepath. Way. Yeah. I mean, seriously, is Keffer even in this show anymore?
Yeah.
Well, no, but
Jeff, I know I texted you this earlier, but I'll share it here anyway. I seriously thought about actually looking ahead at the next episode so that I could purposely guess wrong, because you're right. It is becoming a little ridiculous. And it's like, what in the world? I'm not trying. I promise I'm not looking ahead.
And honestly, like if you're listening to this and not watching us, I'd see Brent every week when I tell him, hey, here's the name of the thing. He's like, oh, shoot, what is the the what? That had more than 3 words in it? What was it?
Because you also take out the very long pause where I'm thinking it through.
Yeah.
That's just listening. You're like, oh, he's just coming up that off the top of his head. No. I'm giving it some time and thinking about it.
Yeah, people watched Brent for like 2 minutes and 14 seconds. Be like, I don't know. Can you repeat that? What? Write it in the thing.
So you said, well, what was it? Was it last week? It wasn't this. It was last week's. Like I literally talked myself into the plot line.
Yeah,
like I started at one spot and I continued to talk until I got into the like, oh, you know what would be cool? Oh, and then you know what would be cool? And then like, what if like, and then this. Okay, so here's the new idea that has nothing to do with what I originally said. Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll see. But for those of us who, or for those of you who haven't watched this before for a long time and you're wondering what in the heck we're even talking about with Bester, what and who's this, whatever, Brent, can you remind all of us what this episode, A Race Through Dark Places, was all about?
Buckle in, folks, because here we go. It was a normal day on Babylon 5. That is until a ship arrived carrying the bad guy. But since that doesn't actually happen until 8.5 minutes into the episode, let's rewind and talk about what we missed. Sheridan is blowing a gasket at the audacity of Earth Force to require him and Ivanova to either move to smaller quarters or start paying rent. It has nothing to do with the fact that they want 30 credits a week for a measly 7 square feet. It's the principle of the matter, Jeff. The principle of the matter. Sheridan even tells Dr. Franklin that he's going to stick to his guns, but Franklin clearly doesn't think that that's going to get him anywhere. And Franklin says, hey, don't worry about it, Jeff. I'll always have a cop for you in my quarters, because when you're a doctor, you can medically requisition one, just in case a newly widowed alien lady just happens to faint right outside your door, and you can bring her in and attend to her needs. Speaking of attending to her needs, Delenn has a need. She has a need to learn more about humans. And so she asks Sheridan out on a date. Like a date. Meanwhile, back on Earth, or at least I think it was Earth. It actually might have been Mars now that I think about it. Our old friend who couldn't possibly be in this episode at all, Bester, has been searching for details about a telepathic underground railroad that is smuggling unregistered telepaths to the outer planets to keep them away from Psycor. They're even going so far as to scan a guy so deeply that it kills him, but not before Bester catches the location of the Underground Railroad's clearinghouse, Babylon 5. Everyone all caught up? Okay, good. Now, it was a normal day on Babylon 5 until a ship arrived carrying a very prominent member of Psycor demanding very nicely to have an immediate face-to-face with Station Command. Yep, you guessed it. Our old buddy Bester is back on Babylon 5. He tells the whole command crew, including Talia, about the Underground Railroad. No one is particularly sad to learn that this is being operated through Babylon 5. It's just they're kind of at odds with it because technically it's illegal. Ivanova clues Sheridan in that Bester guy is not to be trusted. All he needs to do is just go watch that season 1 episode Mind War or check the files, whatever. While the command staff are all talking about this, Talia and Bester are getting a nice little walk and talk, which is important because that later leads us to Talia being alone in her quarters watching sort of a clip show of Mind War with all that stuff that happened with Jason Ironheart, including the fact that he gave her a gift, a super psi power, which totally launches a penny, because they have pennies in the future, into the wall of her quarters. Good news, folks. It wasn't an exterior wall, no explosions. But Talia also realizes in that moment that Jason gave her another gift. She also has the ability to shield her mind from Bester because he was with her a few times and didn't even pick up on the new powers at all. Well, while all that's happening with Talia, Delenn and Sheridan, they're out on that date and it's going well, like really well, like really, really well. So well, in fact, that later that night when Sheridan is falling asleep with Ivanova, he starts cracking stupid dad jokes at her. P.S. Sheridan and Ivanova aren't a thing. They just both got locked out of their quarters because they didn't pay rent, and now they're sleeping in his office. But the whole Sheridan and Delenn thing, yeah, we're going to have to keep an eye on that one. All right, back to the bad guy. Bester and Talia are having breakfast the next morning. They're not on a date, but they are clearly being attacked by some lurkers. Try that again. When they're suddenly attacked by some lurkers, Bester stands his ground and he shoots back because they're shooting at him. What he doesn't notice is that Talia is actually kidnapped by the lurkers while Bester is shooting back because they're shooting at him. And back with the command staff, Bester is relaying just how awesome he was because he survived an attack where they were shooting at him. Talia? Yeah, he's sure she's safe. They weren't really shooting at her because they were shooting at him. Did he mention that they were shooting at him? Well, Talia awakens down below, right smack dab in the middle of Underground Railroad HQ. At first, she's like, hey, listen, you guys really ought to go back to Psycor because they're super cool and they surely wouldn't hurt you. That is until they all start telling her their stories. Some include the murder of a brother. Some include arranged marriages that Talia herself experienced. Some even included forced pregnancies. Talia is beginning to come around, and they say that they have a plan for how to beat Bester. Now, Sheridan has arranged a meeting through Dr. Franklin with the leader of the Underground Railroad. When Sheridan arrives at the Underground, he learns that Dr. Franklin is the leader of the Underground Railroad because, of course, he is. He's actually a part of a group of doctors that identify people with latent telepathic ability and try to get them safely out before Psycor can find out about them. Sheridan's kind of caught between a rock and a hard place with this. He could turn Franklin in and the others, but that wouldn't be right and it would mess up Babylon 5 pretty good. Or he could just let Bester come down because he's on his way and discover everyone for himself, in which case more bad things would happen, like they're all going to die. But Talia has a third option in mind. When Bester arrives, he is confronted by the entire group of telepaths who, without their gloves on, let their powers combine. And they all think pain at the exact same time, and Bester begins to buckle, but he doesn't break because after a few seconds, Talia turns on the telepaths and she and Bester take everyone out with a pew, 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 pew. Literally, pew, 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 pew. Leaving those two as the only ones left standing. And Bester's like, hey, this is pretty cool. Look, no witnesses. Now let's get out of here. After he's gone, Sheridan and Franklin emerge, and they look over at Talia and the very much alive telepaths, all still holding hands, still doing their psychic thing. You see, they planted that sequence of events in Bester's mind so that he would leave not knowing anything any different. This wouldn't have been possible without Talia's super souped up powers, but that's still not enough to save the Underground Railroad operation at B5. That's okay, though. There are others out there, and they will take the place of this one. Babylon 5 is just too hot now. Still believing the whole ruse, Bester asks Talia to keep an eye out on Sheridan. He pauses just before leaving. Does he know about her powers? Did he pick up on it? Well, we don't really know because he just turns around and walks away anyway. This whole situation has been really heavy. And Talia, she needs a drink. So she turns to the one person on the station that she can turn to, Ivanova, who's now back in her quarters after Sheridan diverts some of that military money to pay the rent. But if Ivanova is going to have to talk with her, Talia is going to have to remove that Psycor badge, which she does. And I really, really hope that badge isn't some sort of communicator. The end.
That's a good job.
Thank you.
Yeah, there's a lot to get in there.
There's a lot of this episode. A lot of things. I tried my best to like condense.
Yeah. This is one of those ones on like a second viewing, like I was picking up stuff I didn't pick up on the first one. I'm sure on a third there'll be more. But you know, I think, and this is ridiculous. I've just been, ever since we started recording, I've had to figure out a way to work this in. And I might even cut this out, but I've got to say it. Bester paused at the end, looked back, you know, for a second, kind of started and turned. That's actually where the title of the episode came from, A Race Through Dark Places, because he's not getting on a shuttlecraft back to Mars. He's getting on a shuttlecraft to go for his colonoscopy. All right. Yeah.
What?
A race through dark places.
Oh, Jeff.
Well, hey, that's the show. We're done.
Oh my God.
Here's the thing. Wait.
This is my first time.
My apologies. I needed a moment.
Hey, we're back. We're back.
It's too dark. Oh my God. Yeah. Yes, I am 12 years old and poop jokes still work with me.
I never said it wasn't funny, the whole poop river thing. Right? Okay.
It makes me laugh every time I go through Disney World. I just look at it and just giggle.
Like, I'm going to walk down that.
I talk about it with my 10-year-old son as we're walking by. I'm like, look, dude, it's
poop.
River poop.
Okay. I literally yelled out loud in my office alone twice, 2 times during this episode. Like it wasn't like one of those like, you know, laughs or whatever that we've had a couple of times. Like I literally like, what? 2 whole times in this one. It was so good. It was fun. It was heavy. It was dark. And like, I feel like in the Earth, Mars, Psycor thing, I don't know that the pieces are really coming together, but like, I feel like I kind of know what the pieces are now, if that makes any sense. Yeah. Because like they almost busted out for us the corkboard and the red yarn tying everything together, right? Santiago getting killed, Ironheart, Lurker Dude, who was also with Ironheart, who came on the Psycor breeding program, all that kind of stuff. I also loved, as a bureaucrat, as a government worker, I loved the budgetary politics that they had in this one. But seriously, Bester was back, and he was bester than ever.
Yes, he was.
Yeah.
Yes,
so
he
good.
was. So here's the thing. I am aware that people keep talking about Bester. People love Bester. As soon as he popped up and it's Walter Koenig, you've got him on the show. Oh, he's like, he says it's his favorite role he's ever done, even more than Chekhov and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, so at that point, like in the back of my head, again, folks, you're giving me information. It's behind the scenes, but it clues me into he's going to be back. I don't know how more often he's going to be back. Like here's an example. Do you know how many times Q was in Star Trek, Jeff?
It was like 7 or something like that, wasn't it?
He was in 7 times for Next Generation, and then he was in like a total of 11, like 4 more times with the other shows. 11 episodes. That's it. Not counting the new stuff that's in. And think of how major Q is in the Star Trek universe. Bester could wind up being in like 6 episodes total of Babylon 5 and be felt as this like huge major presence.
Totally. And I was off my button a little bit there. But yeah, exactly. But what I loved about him in this one, he wasn't really wrong. Like, he was just following the law. There's a law that says telepaths have to do this. This is going on. I got to do something about it.
Yeah. Well, I would, yes, technically you are correct.
Well, he relished in it. That's the thing, right?
It's a law that shouldn't exist. And it's a law that is morally reprehensible. And there's so much to talk about with that.
There is so much
that they really explored in this episode. But I wholly agree with you. Like, it feels like Walter Koenig is really figuring out Bester.
Yeah.
In this episode. Like, I don't think he did anything that contradicts what we saw with him last time. But last time he felt very wooden and very bad guy-ish.
He was a villain.
This
he was
time,
clearly a villain. Yeah.
Right. This time he was much more, I don't want to say smooth. No, you know what it is? You know who the best villains are? Are the one who, like, you kind of understand where they're coming from. And he had more of that, I think, in this episode than he did before. Like, there's a legit piece to, we have to get the telepaths out to protect everyone else because they're a security risk. Like, that's a legit thing that you have to be concerned about. Yeah. And are they really a security risk? I don't know. We can talk about that later. But
yeah, and I think there's a lot of questions around it. But I think if you take out that first scene of him on Mars, like literally crushing the dude's brain like a grape, I mean, and just that sociopathic piece of, she's like, oh my God, he's dead. He's like, doesn't matter. Who cares? I got it. I got the information. This guy's life means nothing. You take that scene away and just have him show up on Babylon 5, even with the history in Mind War, and he comes in and you just get that senior staff briefing that starts it off. Yeah, that's a totally reasonable request. He's coming in, he's talking to the right people, he's not running some rogue operation, he's asking to work with them. He's just doing his job at that point. And I think that adds so much to, and I loved the play between him and Garibaldi, because Garibaldi got that. He understood it. He's like, this sucks. I hate you. I hate this law, but also, like, it's my job to uphold the law. So I guess we'll do this thing.
The only times Bester felt bad was the beginning scene that you just discussed. And then at the end where he's like, yep, no witnesses. Let's get out of here before they get down here. And I don't want to answer any questions.
Yeah.
Like, even when he was shooting people, he was getting attacked.
Exactly. He was defending
Now, he could be full of himself and be like, oh, look, everybody, oh, forget about her. They weren't after her. They were after me, and I took care of it. Like, that's just him being full of himself. That's not bad. But you're right. Like, he had that kind of thing. Jeff, I have to ask you, because I know this is on my mind, and this is on the mind of all of our listeners out there and all of our viewers on YouTube. You said you yelled twice. Are you going to tell us at what points you yelled, or do I need to drag it out of you?
Yeah, I was gonna let him come up in conversation, because whatever. So the one that I think everyone is probably in their mind is thinking, but it was in that moment when all the telepaths were holding hands, and Lurker Dude is like, someone's working against us. And you have that moment of like, I wonder who it is. And he turns and he's like, it's you. And then Talia is like, go. And she whips out a PPG. I literally, and I'm putting my finger on the sensor, I literally screamed, holy sh! I couldn't believe it. I could not. And I was, the whole time, I'm just like, oh my God. And then the cut to like, nope. That's all a thing. I'm just like, that was brilliant. That was such good television.
So such good writing at that moment.
Yeah, and the cutting, the editing, and because what it did is you don't expect that from Talia, right? So it immediately rocks you, and you're in this weird spot, and then it comes out, and they're still there. Sheridan's standing there, and everything's fine. And like mentally, you're still like, what is happening? You got this dissonance in your mind, and then they're like, well, we did this whole thing, and the timing of it, like your brain kind of settles just at the right moment to accept the story. And they even slow played it, had Sheridan basically restate everything that just happened, and then they're like, yeah, because we did this thing. And you're like, oh yeah.
It was very Ocean's 11.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
That moment, right?
We did this and here's how this happened and the whole piece. But the other time I yelled and freaked out was during the date with Delenn and Sheridan. And when Sheridan leaned back and he's like, yeah. And I was like, oh, they're gonna, because last week, right, we were talking about the cramps and the reproductive system. We're like, I wonder who she wants her some Sheridan. And I think Sheridan wants, I think this is going to happen.
Is this going to become a thing?
I think it is.
Is this a thing?
It was so teased out. And like that moment when he leaned back and like they rested on him leaning back for like time. Like you felt him basking in that moment.
Yeah, because this certainly, like she shows up in the dress and he's like you could almost see the cartoon eyes like shooting out of his face, like ooga ooga,
Totally, yeah.
And they're laughing and they're giggling and she's touching his arm and
everything. Everything. There was palpable tension there, and he just fell right. And even that whole scene when he and Ivanova are in his office, and he's just like he's basking in it. It's we've all experienced that first date with someone, and you're like, this is gonna be magic. I love her or him, and it's gonna be the best thing ever. He's in that moment, like leaning back, and Ivanova's literally like, I would stab you right now if I didn't work with you. I just want to go to sleep. Please shut up.
So I got it. I'm going to save this for later when we get into the discussion about deltas and stuff. But I thought this was the perfect B plot to the A plot that was going on.
Yeah.
The two, Delenn and Sheridan on this date, and Bester and people looking for this Underground Railroad. Those two juxtaposed against each other and the messages of what's happening between the two. I can't wait till we get to that part to talk about it. Don't let me get out of here without mentioning it. I don't think I'm going to be able to, but we've got to talk about that because this is one of those episodes where like, if you really look at it, and this is where we apply that analytical lens that we get, those two things really like dovetail into each other and couple up. And I can't wait to.
Yeah. Like TKO, people still malign TKO, but those two plots were perfect for each other.
Exactly. And, and people talk about like, yeah, the Talia stuff was cool, but the other stuff was just goofy. And I'm like, yeah, but when you see how they're intercut together, the fight that is happening physically here versus the fight that's happening with Talia, and where the two people are breaking at various points, like it's great storytelling. And this one had that in there as well.
Since we're in the office right now with Sheridan and Ivanova, can we talk about those jokes?
Oh, those marvelous pieces of, oh my gosh. Yes, please.
So, I mean, obviously there was the hilarious one about how many Minbari does it take to screw in a light bulb? None. They always surrender right before they finish the job, and they never tell you why.
I really hope that this was not a joke that she told him.
I was
You're like, where did this joke come from? Like, because he just bagged on this girl that he just went on a date with, effectively.
But my favorite though was the knock knock joke. It was but not because of the gazoo. This is how I would like to tell that joke. Okay, so we're gonna play it here.
Okay.
So you start it, yeah. So so I say knock knock.
Who's there?
Kosh.
Kosh who?
Exactly. Where the hell is this guy? I haven't seen him once in the second season.
I don't think he's been in the second season, has he?
I mean, they haven't even like had his. There were extras in the background that were all gnarned up and looking stuff. Not a single Vorlon, no Kosh, no nothing. Not even standing around. Who is this guy? Is he even in the credits anymore? I don't know. I skipped.
Is it so expensive to put this guy in the episode that they just keep not writing him in?
I mean, they could just put his costume there and just have it like, oh, there he's in the background. There you go. Just don't
have the camera pan by as he's back there. Yeah.
Don't keep on him too long. I really did enjoy that making them rent their room storyline. I thought it was great.
I thought it was absolutely ridiculous.
What?
And not the storyline, what they actually were saying. They're going to make them okay, I don't know how much a credit is in today's money. Let's assume it's a 1-for-1. 1 credit for $1. Let's just assume.
Yeah.
30 credits a week, $30 a week. And I'm going to take Ivanova's word for it. For 7 square feet. $120 a month for 7 square feet. You're going to quibble over that? Jeff, my desk and my chair take up more than 7 square feet of where I'm sitting right now. I couldn't believe it. I'm Team Sheridan on this one. Don't pay it.
So I think it's because I work for the government that I get it. Like I see this kind of stuff happen all the time. Hey, you have to live here. Like you can't go live off base, right? This is but hey, we're gonna find a way to charge you for it. That's what we're gonna do. I thought so. My 2 thoughts. One, I'll touch on both of them really quick. But I was disappointed. I appreciated Sheridan fighting the fight because the principle of like he was right to fight this fight. But also, as a leader, leaders eat last. I will happily take the smallest room in here if it allows us to do this, that, and the other. Now, that's the point that was never made, right? So you're saving this money by charging us $30 a week? Seriously, that's going to make or break the bank? I loved his problem solving, though, where he's like, yeah, I just diverted funds from our combat readiness fund to pay for it. But he diverted it's $60 or whatever, for the 2 of them from combat readiness. A week, yeah. So he diverted that from combat readiness. About a year ago, Commander Jeffrey Sinclair pulled $1.3 million or credits from. There's no way this doesn't end in some sort of a catastrophe. I don't know.
And they'll worry more about the credits being used for the
rooms,
housing.
Yeah. Because again, it's the principle. They flex to this thing, but I thought it was. To me, it was just such a great look at how government works because that's exactly what it does. And Ivanova even had that line, "Oh, it's pretty funny, pulling money from this place to pay this place." That's how government works, at least here in the United States. We have entire federal and state agencies that bill other federal and state agencies for doing their core function. They have the same budget. It comes out of literally the same wallet. It goes. Yep. It has changed what pocket it's sitting in there. It's ridiculous. I thought it was a neat commentary on our state as a government and also just the principle that they do stuff like that.
I thought it was an interesting thing to put in the episode, an interesting plot line. On some level, it was kind of somebody named this in an episode a long time ago. It was the tragic relief. Okay. The comedic relief. Like, because it really was the ha-ha throughout the course of the episode. And it was about the only real ha-ha that we got. Because there was the lovey thing with Sheridan and Delenn. There was the heavy stuff with Bester and the Underground Railroad and all that sort of stuff, which we'll get into that in just a second. This was the funny part. But, like, were they running short on time for this episode and they had to fill it in with something like... I don't understand why they brought this in.
I think it accomplished 3 things. I think that it reintroduced us to the budget. That, this is the first time Sheridan's had to sit and look at the budget stuff. We got a couple of those with Sinclair. So this kind of like, hey, there's a budget. This is an operation that he has to run. It got him and Ivanova in a room together where they weren't working. Right. Like, let's create a situation, and the jokes, they were funny, whatever. But what it showed, like, it's developing that personal relationship between Sheridan and Ivanova that I think is really important. But the big thing that it did, I think this is a huge thing actually, is it told us that there are a ton of Earth military transports that are going through Babylon 5. Where are they going? Where are they coming from? Why is Earth moving the military around? I think that, like, the other stuff was great. Little reminders, build a little bit. But this was a seed that was dropped that Earth is prepping some military operation, and they're doing it through Babylon 5.
My initial response to that, Jeff, might be reading too much into it. I could be wrong. People out there are like, "Oh, Brent, you're so wrong. This is absolutely a hint they're dropping," and that's fine. I'm glad to be wrong on that. My suspicion is that's really more of a throwaway line. Like, it's just this is just what happens, and they're not going to go anywhere with it.
People love it when we say they're throwaway lines. That really gives people, right. Yeah, they love it.
Yeah, right, because it always means we're just wrong.
Right.
The fact that Sheridan and Ivanova got locked out of their quarters was hilarious to me. So funny.
And then Garibaldi did it. Like, that was the whole point of the scene. Like, when he went into, we learned that bar, at least I learned, it's called Earhart's. I didn't know that before.
Yeah, hello. Yeah. Amelia Earhart. They had the propeller on there and all that.
It all makes sense now.
I really wonder if they know that she's just living out in the Delta Quadrant.
Exactly. They could get her at any point. It's so close to where they are, just a jump gate away, really. But I thought it was great. He's like, hey, Ivanova, are you running this whole Underground Railroad thing? I've got questions. No, it's not me at all. Okay, cool. Hey, I got something I got to tell you. And he literally took her aside. He's like, I just got these orders. My men are doing it right now. Sorry.
You know what I loved was okay, so how many months ago was it? It was a while, because this movie's been in the theaters for a while now. At this point, as we record this, the new Top Gun movie's been out for a while now.
Oh, a long time. Yeah.
Maverick, right? It's been, what's it been? 6, 7, 8 months now, I guess.
Easy. Because it was like early. It was like, it was like June that came out, I think.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was like way back at the beginning of the summer. Yeah. So, yeah, like what, 9 months ago now. In that movie, spoiler alert, they had a scene where somebody said something they weren't supposed to in a bar, and they had to buy a round of drinks for everybody.
That's a real thing. If you go into a bar, a military bar, and you go there to work, talk official business, you got that's a real thing. We used to tell people,
that like for real?
Yep.
I've never heard that before in my life. I don't spend a lot of time in military bars, so whatever. But
yeah, we used to have a rule when I was in the Navy, because so I was on a submarine and we wore poop suits. It's a jumpsuit thing, and they were blue. And we used to people would come up and you're just like, am I wearing blue right now? Because I'm not. So why are you talking to me about work? Like, lay off. I thought that was cool. They did that. That was a neat just piece of realism that they had.
I wonder how much a round of drinks cost for a bar as busy as Earhart's was at that
There
point.
There are a lot of people in there. And that bartender was really excited to get that going.
He was not letting him get away.
But I wonder, as we were talking about that, when at the end, Ivanova's laying down, and then Talia comes in and interrupts her, but she's wearing, that was a pretty swanky nightie.
That was, wow.
Yeah. Part of me wonders, did Garibaldi buy that for her as an apology? He's like, hey, sorry for locking you out of your room. Here's a nightie for you. I know you have trouble sleeping. Yeah, level of luxury we've been told doesn't happen on Babylon 5.
She had a silk nightie on.
Yeah.
Which she was just gorgeous in it. And I mean that in all the respectful ways. I really don't mean that disrespectfully to her at all. Like, wow.
Should we dive into the railroad stuff?
Yes, but I want to make fun of it just a little bit.
All right.
Not of the railroad stuff, of something specifically that happened with Bester, or a couple of things that happened with Bester. Okay. First of all, you mentioned yelling. I also yelled, and I'm surprised that this isn't the spot that you yelled. Please get ready for your censor button there, Jeff.
Oh, okay.
Because when Bester came on screen within the first 3 minutes of the episode or whatever, I literally went, holy, it's Bester. Like, I was like, oh my God. And I mean, part of it was the fact that I just said this could not be a Bester episode. I didn't even see it coming. They're talking about budgets in their bedrooms. What the heck is this guy doing in this episode? Like, it floored me. I texted you in that moment.
Yep.
And I went, Jeff, I just watched the opening of this episode, and I said all I can say, and I sent you a GIF of like Lucille Ball going with like big eyes, going like, ah. I want to know when you got that, because I tried to be as cryptic as I possibly could. What ran through your mind? Because you hadn't watched it yet.
The thing I thought is, oh my God, it's a Dr. Franklin episode and he's doing some sort of weird illegal ethical thing again. Right. Like, oh look, surprise, Brent got the episode right again.
Yeah. And then the other one, and this might have been Sheridan, and this might have actually been when he's talking about the room thing, but he says the word fraggin'.
Yes, abso-fraggin-lutely.
Abso-fraggin-lutely. He is one hard K sound away from getting to the word frackin'.
Mm-hmm.
And I really need to hear this word by the time the show is over, because I know that this show is pre Battlestar Galactica, but for all the ways that they try to get around cussing in this show, I need to hear frackin'.
It's going to happen at some point. It has to. Has to.
Oh, here's the other one. I feel like I've noticed this before, but this one for some reason really, really stood out to me. The part of the episode where Bester is on the comm talking to Talia, and she's not even looking at him. She's looking away, which I get. There's a staging thing to that.
Well, she's still watching the Ironheart replay. Like,
right,
that's still,
right.
Yeah, that's on a different screen for her.
I don't think they have that side of the wall for the set built, so they have to shoot her facing out. But I felt like I could see and hear them shooting Walter Koenig's part of that exchange, and I could almost hear somebody off screen reading the part of Talia, and him just sitting there waiting, and the director cueing him to say his next line. Like it didn't feel natural at all.
It was clearly pre-recorded. What it felt like, I mean, everything, his tone and everything was, I really expected him, he's talking, and I would like to take you to breakfast so that we can talk about this. And then I expected him to look at her with a little smile and say, Reliant out. Hit the button and then, have it all go. It was just that whole look, I'm being controlled and saying a thing. I think a lot of the Babcomming that happens in Babylon 5 has that feel. Like that's a thing. And I'll take the buzz. Star Trek does a really, really good job in having dialogue between the view screen and the actor. They have all the way back to the original series. It's always worked really well. It's come across natural. There's only been a handful of them in Babylon 5 that have seemed natural. They are clearly taped very separately.
Yeah.
That one just really showed, because it was totally Star Trek 2 Chekhov. Totally.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I think that's all the fun things I have.
One thing, I mean,
I'm sorry, just so I know on account, I have one reference left. Is that right?
We both have one left.
We both have one left. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is going to be tight. But I think, one to kind of pivot from sort of a fun thing, but get in there. Bester was really trying to get the term normals across.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's to protect the privacy of the normals. I can't do this around the normals. Call them normies. Call them something, but you just call them normals. It just sounds like you're forcing it.
Well, okay. This for me is a little bit like part 2 of a bigger conversation that I think we have to have. Which, Jeff, maybe we just sort of move into that because we all know what happened.
Right.
We don't have to recap what happened. So the idea that they bring up with an underground railroad immediately brings imagery of slavery, because that is our history as a country here in America.
That's where the term comes from.
It's exactly where the term comes from. You bring up Underground Railroad, we now start thinking of slavery. And I'm sitting here thinking, is there an insinuation here that telepaths are actually slaves? Right? And does this have anything to do with why Talia is very wishy-washy on the core? You know, and I was not alive back when slavery was still a thing here. I've seen movies, which I know were made not back then either, right? But there are times where you have portrayed a character who is a slave that kind of is on the side of his owners and the slave masters, right? And like the slave is trying to get other slaves to comply and be like, look, these guys, look, we've got good clothes on. There's a character in the film Roots, in the movie Roots, the new one that, by the way, if no one's watched the new one that was made a couple of years ago,
I haven't seen that one.
Great.
Really?
It does everything that a reboot redo should do.
Oh, wow.
And this particular character is played by Forrest Whitaker. Okay. But he is a guy who he's trying to keep everybody else in line. And while he clearly understands that he is a slave and doesn't like that aspect, there is still this loyalty and this attachment to his slave owners, almost a brainwashing effect. And that's where Talia really seems to be, is because she's still very psychor. Like she can't get out of it. Like it's ingrained in her, right? And they almost have to show her how slave-like she is. But as a part of that idea, like if we extend that metaphor, was JMS writing, did he set this up to be that kind of a, hey, let's present this concept and this idea? I don't know. It's certainly what I pulled out of it just because of his own words. But the idea that everyone who is a telepath is not normal, because everyone else is normal. You can call them normies if you want, but I think it's very specific. You don't call them normies because they're normal.
They're just normal.
The people who aren't normal, those are the ones who get the names. Those are the ones who get put in boxes. Those are the ones who get put into concentration camps, not concentration.
Relocation.
Internment camp.
Or relocation. They call them relocation. And then they went to, I think they went as far as to say, which aren't too far from concentration camps.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Like that idea that they're breeding in, like, just by use of the words normals, they're the normals. Gosh, Jeff, I need more Star Trek references.
You got one, man.
But I gotta save it for later.
I have one also, but
no, you gotta save yours.
I'm looking to see, because I think I need it.
Yeah. But
well, for your Delta discussion, it doesn't count, so you can use it in your Delta discussion.
That is true. That is but I need like 5 more right now, because there's so many great examples of this through Star Trek. That's not a reference.
Well, I think I can help you out a little bit.
Go ahead.
I think I can help you out because I went through the exact same thought exercise of has Underground Railroad, the term, just become such a kind of ubiquitous, is it the Kleenex, of a thing where anything that's just moving people around quietly is Underground Railroad, or does it always carry those connotations of slavery with it? And where I went was in the game Fallout 4, one of the factions is the Railroad, and it's essentially an underground railroad. There are a group of synths that have been made to completely replicate what a human looks like, and there's a lot of stuff around. But their whole thing is finding the synths, liberating them, relocating them, and letting them live their lives as just a human being. Go out and live their life. totally pulls onto the connotations of slavery. I think the term Underground Railroad comes with slavery, period. I think it's part and parcel. And I think what they're talking about here is they've created this weird paradigm where as a telepath, you are elevated. You're better than the normals, but also you're ranked and you're tagged. You're a P1, you're a P5, you're a P11. Once you're a P12, now you're going to be a psychop. Like they have this hierarchy within that really sets you up in a way that you're better than these other people. You're still just cattle, though. We're going to match you. We're going to breed you. We're going to control every aspect of your life and have a code of conduct that tells you have to run this way. For Talia, and I'm kind of might be jumping on your point here so you can get back on, but for Talia, there's I think two things happening for her. One is conditioning, what I call boot camp conditioning. I'm going to do the right thing, not because it's the right thing, but because I've been trained for so long that I will be punished if I don't do the right thing. And punishment in Psychor can be a relocation camp. It can be the sleepers. It can be death. It can be things we probably haven't even been exposed to yet. So she knows you don't stand up to Korra's father. You don't stand up to Korra, right? Because you're conditioned. But secondly, you talked about it last week.
Well, I'm sorry. Let me back up.
Yeah, jump in.
Like on that conditioning, imagine as a person of color. I'm sorry, as a telepath.
Yeah.
Right. You are told, and you are made to live that your very existence is a threat. Sound familiar?
A little bit. A lot.
You can either submit to the core and then you can do what they tell you, or you can get drugged up and lose yourself, or you can run and hide because we're going to try to kill you if you don't. Does this sound familiar? You can comply, or you're going to die. Jeff, when we start talking about things that speak to today, this is a 30-year-old show. Things that speak to today. Oh my gosh. And how, and you I mean, yeah, hey, we're going to put you with you and let you guys breed. And if you're not going to do it, guess what? We're going to put you to sleep and we're going to do it anyway.
Yeah.
We're going to, now I don't know if there's an insinuation that it was a rape situation or if it was like artificial insemination, whatever, like either way, you're violating this person.
Yeah.
Like bad in a not good way. That is what you're just talking about. Right
exactly. Yeah. This is going to happen. So I will toe the line when it comes to the core. And it's not even a conscious thought. You know, at some point that conditioning just becomes, it's a survival instinct. The trauma rewires your brain in a way that you're not even aware you're standing up for them. And I think
is this a similar situation to even like an abuser victim type relationship?
100%.
You stay in it because you can't get away from it.
Well, because
you try to, but your brain doesn't like let you.
But also, you don't think you need to get away from it, you know, because I mean, really, I deserve this. You know, I did the things, and so I mean, this is what's supposed to happen. I did the thing, and so this happens.
Or I am this, and so that's just how I'm.
So it's just what it is. Yeah, I think that the scenes where the rogue telepaths shared their experiences and their stories, and the filming of them was that whole sequence was so good. And then the placement of it, you had kind of the lead lurker guy in the background quite a bit doing that, you know, thing where like someone's sharing their story and he's, you know, he's carrying that affinitive empathy with them and just being like, oh yeah, you know, holding his face and, you know, slicking his hair back like, oh my gosh, I feel you, you know, and then came over even and like, the one who found herself pregnant, he even like, you know, put his arms around her afterwards, you know, like comforted her after sharing the trauma. But what that was oftentimes in those situations where you're so conditioned, you know, all these things are wrong. Those things are sitting in your brain and you need something that awakens them. And that's what that series of stories were. She didn't hear anything she didn't know. There were no revelations for her, but it validated and gave context to what was already in her brain, where it finally connected the dots in a way that she's like, I can't anymore. I wish this episode aired before Soulmates, because everything that happened with her
Yeah.
in there would have made more sense. Her wanting to leave Psychor, like that would have been a very natural. I think it still works. I feel like Stoner introduced some of these things and then this built on the things that so she could go, but I feel like it would have been really smooth if they were swapped.
Yeah, I was actually thinking about that. I don't know that I thought about having them swapped, but there was a piece, like I'm sitting here going, as she's listening to these people talk, in the back of my head, and therefore in the back of Talia's head, she also has one of these stories.
Yep.
Because she was matched to this dude. And they were supposed to breed. Like that was, they put them together so that they could build a superior, like, oh yeah, I've heard that story before.
Right. And she knows Ivanova's mom died because of the sleepers, you know, because of the drugs. So that, you know, the person sharing the story of his brother, who just one day he didn't wake up. Right. All these are all awakenings that you and I have in our memory from the show. So she has as well. But I think the other piece for this hits right back to what you talked about last week and what I put the label on of be, do, have. Not only is she conditioned to not stand up to Psychor, but without Psychor, what am I? I'm nothing without Psychor. She was in there when she was 5. She has no identity. So it is horrifying and terrifying and unimaginable to not be Psychor.
Right. Right. She's got to get her mind out of that. Garibaldi has this line, and I wrote it down as best I could. I'm not going to swear it's verbatim, but this is pretty good. He says this: the law is the law. It's damn ironic, isn't it? The Corps got started because we were afraid of telepaths. Now they're the victims of our own fears. Then we took them and shoved them into a big black box called Psychor. Now look at them. Wearing this, wearing that, giving orders. And Sheridan says, if you ask me, we created our own monster and maybe we deserve it.
Yeah. Garibaldi, I think in his statement, he talked about black gloves and jack boots and black uniforms. I feel like that was getting as close to a Nazi comparison as you could without saying Nazi. And that's, you know, you want to talk about eugenics, you want to talk about perfect breeding, you want to talk about better than the normals. I mean, there you go.
There you go. And they're now taking over.
So
like that's
I think they, so I don't think they are. I think they have, because
fair enough. Absolutely fair.
Yeah. Cause here's the thing for me. And I think this is one of the biggest takeaways of the whole episode. If that relatively small group of rogue telepaths can get together and hold hands, and they can make Bester believe that he just killed all these people and everything's cool. What could a group of 100 or 1,000 or more do? Could they impact a city, a planet, an entire government system? Are people seeing and experiencing a reality that's not even happening? And that's what they're reacting to right now.
Is the president even dead?
Oh, wow. He was really curious, right? What are people saying? What's the, I mean, they all but said, hey, we were tied to the assassination on there, but maybe it wasn't an assassination at all.
Right.
Oh,
I mean, but there's that idea. You put them into a box, internment camp. And you do that to keep them separated because they'll become a problem. And if they do link up together, they'll rise up and that could go really, really bad. Jeff, if I could kind of even force us into the next segment, because we're right here on it
really quick, just because I mean, and this is kind of a weird like jump, and maybe I should have hit it earlier, but there are 2 really cool actor highlights that I wanted to pull out in here real fast. One, the lurker guy, Giannin Loeffler, doesn't have a lot of credits. I got the impression listening to him that he was either hearing impaired or deaf.
Right.
He's not.
He?
No.
Okay.
He's Swiss.
Okay.
It's just he's known for having a unique voice and delivery, and I don't know. I thought that was very fascinating. Here's the big one though that I thought was super fascinating. When Bester and the other Psychop are questioning the guy near the beginning, and he pulls that other Psychop is played by Judy Leavitt. That's Walter Koenig's wife.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And she had bit parts in most of the original series Star Trek movies also. So kind
Fair
of a
enough.
cool, like, hey, we're together.
Yeah.
I thought that was
That's
neat.
fun.
But to wrap in and to move in, I just want to touch on what we know about Talia
Okay.
now, right? Because
Yeah. Let's recap it.
Yeah, she's the future, right? And so we don't know what that means, but what we know, her telekinesis has gone to a whole new level.
Right.
She's got shields that can shield people, herself, from scans, whether it's just Bester or other people, not totally sure. And then she clearly, her psi level, her P level has raised because Lurker Dude was saying, you tipped the scales. You have something special here.
Yeah.
So Talia is at a whole new level at this point.
Yeah. Talia is something we haven't seen yet. I mean, a step below whatever Ironheart was, or maybe just something different altogether. Talia is something, and she doesn't even really know what it is yet, because she apparently had those shields up and didn't even know it.
Didn't even know. She actually made that comment. You've been in my mind twice. How did you not see this?
Exactly. Yeah. And Psycor is literally searching for its people to continue. That's probably something we don't need to lose track of, Jeff. Psycor is breeding people to get a better Psycor rating, and they're not willing to let anyone slip through the cracks. Right?
Yeah.
Like, everybody's got to come here. It's for national security, but that's not it. They're actually
They're
trying
breeding
to,
the superhuman is what they're breeding.
and that's what they're trying to go towards, right?
The Kwisatz Haderach.
I mean, they've told us what Psycor is up to, and that's what it is. Right?
Yep, trying to find the most powerful being possible in humanity.
Right. So, and by the way, with Talia, I just want her taking the symbolism of her taking off the Psycor badge at the end of the episode is huge.
Yeah.
Like, being able to set it down. Now, we're going to see her with that Psycor badge right back on her shirt tomorrow or next episode, whatever. But the idea that she could do that.
Did you see how she paused? Right? Like, first, huge kudos to Ivanova, where she's like, got a problem with that. Like, you're cool. That's not cool. And then she was just like, oh, pause. And then she that 2 seconds was like, probably those 2 seconds took 4 hours in Talia's mind.
Here's another question. Speaking of a pause, Bester's leaving. She's thinking in her head, does he know? Does he know? Does he know? And he stops and turns around and looks at her. And then he turns around and walks away. They don't answer that question for us. Does he know?
I don't think he does. I think that was this is what I think it was, actually. And I don't know what the sequence is, but dude is legit with a PPG thing, right? I mean, those assassins, boom, boom. He took them out with the 10, the telepaths or whatever, boom, 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 boom. Like, he was nailing it. He's going to know, and maybe he just did that math. He doesn't have 10 charges taken out of his PPG. Like, he's going to know he didn't fire 10 times. We've seen that before. PPG, it's kind of hot. Just fired. Oh, charge, full. It's still got this in there. We know those are trackable things. Bester's handy with it. I think that's what he paused about. Or maybe he's like, hey, did I just bump into a thing? Maybe not.
Yeah. Does she have something that I almost just caught? I'm not really. That's what I thought it was. I don't know that he knows as much as, like, he just sort of caught a whiff of something and was like, is that? Nah. And he went on with it.
Well, it's like when in the beginning,
PPG thing though, is it? I mean, that could come up one way or the other. Like, he could just realize it. Like, wait a minute, when I got home, it was still full.
Yeah, how's this thing full? I murdered 13 people in cold blood, or however many there. Well, that's not true. He did it in self-defense. I'll give credit.
Right. So, where this comes down to me, and I mentioned earlier the A plot and B plot really dovetailing in with each other. We have this whole idea of the telepaths. They're being separated out. We're going to put them into a box. That box is Psycor. We're going to brainwash them. We're going to make them wear gloves. That was huge. They took off their gloves and linked hands, right? We're going to make them wear gloves. We're going to keep everybody separated. We're going to put this wall up between them and all the normals. We're going to call them normals, and everybody else over here is weird. And they come to the end, and they realize that if they take the gloves off and join hands, they can accomplish something that they could never accomplish individually. Holy cow. Juxtapose the fight that they had to get through to figure that out, right? And honestly, the ongoing fight that telepaths are going to have to continue to live with from here on out, because this is just this little tiny group of people, right? Juxtapose that to what's going on with Delenn and Sheridan. Here you have two people who are fighting against each other in a war. And specifically with Sheridan, he was, Sinclair rewritten on the front line, right? And he's out on this date with a Minbari, and I don't know that he knows in the moment that it's a date, but that's clearly what it was. And one of those two enemies, you have two enemies out together having a meal. One of those enemies is there specifically trying to be a bridge. She says, if I'm to be a bridge between our peoples, I have to know here and know what's going on. The answer is go out and talk. Let's go talk. Not about work. Let's just go be together.
Let's connect.
And talk. Connect. It certainly looks like it's going down the romantic side. It might not. It really could just be a very professional Garibaldi Ivanova kind of a relationship ultimately. It kind of doesn't have that feel to me though. And she ends it with this line: it appears we have much more in common than we could have ever imagined. I even like where she says, no race can truly be intelligent without laughter.
Yeah.
And she spent a full year in Temple learning to laugh, which as a comedian, I love that. But the answer is to go talk. Whereas what we see with the Psi Corps people is they're building a wall and they're separating people away. By the telepaths taking off those gloves, which is symbolic, and linking hands, also symbolic, and joining forces, which was not even really symbolic. That was just really direct. You join your forces together. Again, they could do something that they never could have done on their own. And I find those two ideas, one very willing and just laying it out there, and the other is kind of being forced into it when they're not even supposed to do that. Like, those are two really cool side-by-side storylines that seemingly have absolutely nothing to do with each other. And huge on the Star Trek message in both of those ways.
Yeah. I kind of felt like you were just going to do your Delta rating right there. You were into it. Hey, YouTube. I didn't have my notes pulled up. I was looking over to see where we are in the show and the notes and who's supposed to do which one at which point, because I never remember which one's which. So, Jeff, with that, let's officially just boil it down. Yeah.
I'm already there. Let's just go. I just talked about how Star Trek-y this episode really is. I talked about the deep moral message that's in it. I talked about holding up a mirror to society because this is still relevant today. And does it give us hope that we can be better in the future? I think if nothing else, the date between Delenn and Sheridan definitely gives us that hope. If you just go talk, let's go together. It doesn't have to be a date, but just go talk and find out about your fellow person, right? You'll find out that you have a lot more in common than you never did before. Jeff, this is a 5 Delta Star Trek episode through and through. It would not surprise me if DC Fontana herself wrote this episode, or David Gerald. Wouldn't surprise me at all.
On my second watch through, I specifically watched for that because I'm like, there's no way. Like this, they pulled in big guns for this. But no, JMS wrote this, and this should be a jewel in his crown.
Yeah.
Because so well done. I think the other Star Trek-y thing in this that wasn't done as well as what you talked about, but I think Franklin introduced a really good Star Trek message, and that is that just because a law is a law doesn't mean you blindly follow that law. Now, are there other routes that could have been taken and all that great stuff? Absolutely. But when a law, I'll steal your words, is morally reprehensible, you stand up against that law, right? You fight, you do something about that. And Franklin his thing happened to be underground and putting himself and the station at huge risk. I loved how Sheridan handled it. We're done, right? This thing's done. Cool. You do it again, I will lock you up and lead you to the gallows myself. Also, he had said something too when he says, I don't disagree with you. You were, did I do the wrong thing? No, I'm not saying that. In fact, I'm not saying what I'm saying. I'm not thinking what I'm thinking. Because there's no way to put that into words, it's necessarily that makes sense. But when something ain't right, you call it as ain't right.
Right.
And that's the message that I think shone through for me.
There you go.
We've talked this whole episode about how awesome it is and how much fun it is and how well put together it was. I don't need to give a whole diatribe and say it again. This is a 5-star Fury episode. I enjoyed this.
Episode.
It was perfectly crafted. The acting was incredible. Everything about this episode is fantastic. This I hope you don't give anything away, but you can tell us on Twitter or in the comments below. Is this one of the Babylon 5 episodes that are out there? Like Babylon Squared. That's one that people said this is one of the Babylon. Is this one of those? Because it sure as heck should be. It
feels like it.
So well done.
Yeah, it absolutely. And I 100% agree with you on your Star Furies. This was a great episode. I'd watch this anytime. Jeff, here in season 2, we're doing something we didn't do in season 1. We are ranking these episodes. And by the time we're done with this, we're going to have the absolute 100% completely accurate, definitive ranking of Babylon 5 season 2. Jeff, our current ranking sits at least the top 5. We have Soulmates at number 1, Points of Departure at number 2, A Spider in the Web, Geometry of Shadows, Revelations is rounding out the top 5. Where do you place A Race Through the Dark Places?
I really got to think about this one for a while. I mean, it's pretty tough. And this is the number 1. This is the number 1 episode of season 2 so far.
Yeah. Yeah. That's going to push Revelations out of the top 5,
which
is okay.
Yeah. I think there's still a couple in the top 5. I'm okay not being in the top 5 when we get to the end of this. Well, Brent, that's it for A Race Through Dark Places. Next week, we're going to be watching The Coming of Shadows for the very first time. Yeah. So we don't watch this ahead of time. We don't look at anything. Brent just uses his telepathic powers to figure out what's up. But one of the games we like to play is guess what the next episode is going to be based on the title alone. So you've just heard it, Brent. What do you think that the namesake for season 2 is going to be about?
Yeah, I was just going to ask you, didn't you tell me that they kind of titled the whole of season 2, The Coming of Shadows?
Yeah. And here
we are. This is that episode. So you did say to me that the episode for the next week is a little bonk on the head. Like it sort of gives the whole thing away. So I'm going to go with whatever the shadow is, whatever that organization is, or whatever they are. This is where they're going to bust on the scene and everybody knows who they are. Right? Yeah. Like they're full force. Here's the Dominion. This is them right there. And they're now something you got to reckon with. That's the episode.
That's what it's going to be. But I want to be that guy. I want to be that guy who's like, no. So my theory is that there are big S shadows, like the ones in the ships and out there at Zahadum and all that. And then there's little S shadows, the little things that go on all around. We just spent, 2 episodes looking at the shadows that are looming over Earth and Mars and humanity. We've looked at the shadows that are looming over the Centauri, right? With the Emperor not having an heir and all that kind of stuff. So I think this next one, it's going to be a Londo and G'Kar episode, and I'm saying that in a very self-serving way. I love this episode, but I felt their absence. So I think this is going to be the one, because like the little thing we've heard dropped a couple of times is G'Kar is all in on this Book of Jaquan and the shadows and all this stuff. His government is not. They've basically told him to shut up and stuff it. So I think there's going to be a rift between G'Kar and his government, and this is going to start showing the shadows that loom over the Narn, the Narn regime, to bring them in. So everybody, like everybody else, they've got problems going on. We'll see. We're going to find out right here next week on Babylon 5 for the first time. Thank you all so much for joining us. If you haven't already, please, wherever you're listening to us or if you're watching us on YouTube and you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe. And please leave us a rating, leave us a review. I love reading those here on the podcast itself. So Brent, until next time.
Mary had a little lamb, little lamb, little lamb.
Until next.
Mary had a
Till next time.
lamb. Fleece was white as snow.
Peace and okay. Peace and long life, everybody.
This is my first time.
Everywhere that Mary went, fleet was white as snow. It's fleece, not fleet.
It could be a fleet. Fleets could be white as snow. Why not?
Little Sister Act 2 there for you.
I'm really glad that we had you do that one. Like I think I was telling you before that I had a hard time. I kept saying the rosary. I was just like, oh, it's about Mary. Well, Hail Mary. Oh, no, it's Mary had a little lamb. Which, by the way, they're both kind of the same thing. Didn't know if you knew that, but that's what that nursery rhyme is actually about.
Is it really?
It is. Look it up. Mary had a little lamb. Right?
Yeah, I catch that now. I've never thought about that.
Fleece white as snow.
Okay.
Everywhere that Mary went,
The
that
lamb was sure
to go. Because she followed him, follows everyone around the right with his footsteps in the sand, or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah, there's there's whole papers and stuff written on it. It goes into pretty deep detail. Who knew? Well, I guess I knew. And other
then
people out there probably.
how do you get back into the second verse about going to school one day? She took the lamb to school one day, school one day, school.
Yeah. How many people went to Sunday school? Like,
Oh my God.
right?
You
Well,
know who never went to Sunday school? Mary.
True. That's because the thing is, up until recently, any education was a religious thing. Anyway, so she did go to school. It was what do we call it now? Hebrew
of Hard
school.
Knocks? Oh.
Or that too. But yeah, back then they didn't send kids to school. Back then, my understanding is until you were 12 years old, you basically didn't exist because the mortality rate was so low on kids surviving. Look at us being biblical scholars here on
this thing has just gone way off the rails.
We really went a different direction on this one. Hey,
we did.
For a lot of people, since we're on the topic, we're heading into the holidays, or we're in the holidays.
Yeah,
actually.
Yeah, yeah. Happy holidays, folks. Whatever you celebrate, however you celebrate.
I think
and if you don't celebrate anything, happy Monday.
Yeah, happy Monday.
Or
happy
Tuesday, Sunday, whenever you get this.
I think most people are off today, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's how they do it. It's the day after, so they get the day off. So our download numbers are probably going to be super low.
Well, they'll catch back up.
They'll get to it. People, how could people skip this one? This is such a great episode.
You guys give the gift of Babylon 5 for the first time to your friends and family.
Yeah.
I don't know how, but
it's a link. Just copy the link. There's a little thing. It should be right over here, I think. It says copy and share. Just do that.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good stuff, Jeff.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
This was. I was really glad. This was a great episode.
I was so glad to get. I mean, we said it last week. I'll say it again. Like there was that run of like 5 episodes. That's like, what in the world? And if this is what we're in for. I don't even want to say the rest of the season. Like if this is even half of the rest of the season, that'd be great.
Yeah. But I think like tomorrow, I mean, when are we watching the next one? Next week?
Know.
Wow. Next week when we watch the next one.
Behind the scenes, it depends if we take this week off or not. I don't know.
Yeah, it's true. But honestly, I've talked about how like I'm kind of over the shadows thing, but like I'm excited. Like if we're like this is going to get into it, and I think that'll be cool. That'll be we'll finally.
Here's the thing. Coming up with the shadows thing right after the Psycor thing is really good because there's a piece of me that feels too many threads, too many things going on that I'm trying to track, and I don't have a good handle on anything yet. Like I still don't have a great handle on what's going on with Psycor, although I think I have probably the best handle on them. And we're figuring out the shadow thing. I get the feeling the shadow thing is just pretty much going to be what they are. Like, it's not going to be much to them. They're just bad dudes.
Yeah, ancient enemy, super powerful, big fight.
Yeah. But then like there's remember all the way back with that show Infection, the really bad one. What's up with that planet that just made tech that took over your body? Right.
Yeah.
And then what about dude who's the battery down on the planet below the station?
Yeah.
And what about Babylon 4 that was just blinking in and out? Babylon 4 is still out there somewhere, right? Blinking in and out of existence. And then the Gray Council, and what are they going to do with Delenn? They still haven't figured out what the heck they're going to do. And is Sinclair going to come back? Like, he's out there. What's going on with that? The president just died, and there's like, there's all these little threads that at some point have to coalesce.
Yeah, at some point. You know what I just thought of, and I really regret not saying during the episode itself?
What?
Wouldn't it be cool if this Underground Railroad, like the end of the train, was the same place the Techno Mages are going to?
I even forgot about the Techno Mages.
All right, exactly. So you got Techno Mages and then all these rogue telepaths coming in.
Because those guys are like the elves from Lord of the Rings. Like, hey, we're just leaving.
Yeah, we're just going to go for a walk.
By the way, I just noticed your shirt.
Yeah, my B5 shirt.
Awesome shirt. I just noticed it.
I'm all in, man.
I'm wearing a boring gray shirt. That's it.
It works. I'm actually traveling tomorrow. I'm giving a keynote, and which is a thing I do. So I will not be wearing this cool T-shirt tomorrow.
Are you going to dress up in a suit?
No, I won't do that. I refuse.
Will you be in like khakis and a polo or something?
Polo, yeah. I actually, oftentimes I'll wear, I've got Starfleet Leadership Academy polos with my logo. And
okay.
Yeah. So
do you tuck in your shirts, or do you just wear them out?
I'm anti-tuck in. I live in the Pacific Northwest, right? And like we have a pretty loose dress code generally. And so I dress it up a little. I want to respect, the people that hire me to come in and talk, but also like when I worked in pro wrestling way back, I wore a suit. That's part of the thing, but I wore a bow tie. Like I was going to make that. I'm going to be a little different. I'm going to wear a bow tie. And but when I stopped doing the wrestling stuff, when all the COVID thing started and that whole industry changed, I'm just like, I don't think I'm ever going to. Well, that's not true. I do wear suits when I lobby in front of our state legislature, but the legislature now meets online
virtually.
And so so I wear a suit on top, shorts on the bottom. That's the way to wear a suit.
I do. If I ever have to go in front of a judge, I do that. I work in child advocacy, and sometimes I have to go in front of a judge dealing with a particular case. And it's the same thing now. It's online. So I put the shirt and the tie on. I don't have tucked in. There's thing like my wife tells me, don't tuck your shirts in. Like you don't look good when your shirts are tucked in, but people believe that you still have to tuck in your shirt. So like if I actually physically go to court, the bailiff won't let me in until I tuck in my shirt.
Yeah.
Which is fine. It's code, but it just feels so weird.
It's restrictive and it's awful. I started using
and it doesn't look good. It doesn't look good. It doesn't look professional. It doesn't look anything like that on me. Anyway.
Well, I think if you don't have if you're like, I'm going to say 75% of men and you don't have that really super slender body, it doesn't look good when you tuck in your shirt.
Right.
Like there's definitely a body type. It looks great. It looks really good on, but that's not most guys.
If you are a rectangle or a funnel, it can look good on you. If you are a pear shaped, it does not look good on you. It just doesn't. It doesn't. Jeff, I don't know if you've noticed, but I have been eating 3-month-old stale candy corn.
I can't believe you still have that.
This stuff tastes like it's 3 months old.
Well, it's probably like 30 years. It's probably from Halloween on Babylon 5. Like, I can't believe they make that stuff still. Like, is that like why? There's got to be so much out in the world.
We were cleaning out the pantry earlier today, and like just kind of found this like tucked behind the thing.
I do love that mystery Halloween candy though. We're like, oh, we have this extra bag that just showed up.
Oh. I don't know. I mean, I have a half of a bag of candy still downstairs. It's tucked up in a closet because I can't let my kids get to it from Halloween that we just never gave out. Like kids never came. And it happens every year. That bag will last for probably close to a year.
Really?
Of like just sort of nibbling.
Do you get like a consistent amount of kids at Halloween, or We didn't talk about
No.
Halloween when Halloween happened, but
No, it doesn't. Well, because we never stayed online to do this afterwards,
that's true.
right?
Yeah.
But no, our house usually, like, there's been years where we get like 2 or 3 kids that come through because we're way at the back of the neighborhood.
Okay.
Now we got a ton of kids in our neighborhood, which I don't understand because when I was a kid, I went to every single house.
Yeah.
That's not, no, these kids, like, they kind of stay in their little area. They go off to their friends, and people they do like the churches have their trunk or treat thing, or the mall has its thing where you can go around the mall and get candy, or you can go to whatever business, like they have stuff like that. Like, kids don't go door to door much anymore.
We get
My kids do.
We get a ton of kids here. Like,
Do you?
I think we probably got like 300 or 400
Whoa.
this year. Yeah, it's up from last.
What?
We're a huge neighborhood, tons of kids and people.
Whoa.
Yeah, it was and it's
How
pretty
much does that
endless.
cost you to buy candy for Halloween then?
Not that much. We go to Costco to get it. So I mean, we probably drop $200 or something like that, and then we end up with some left over, and it's by design. Or
Jeff,
but we
buddy,
also
you are bougie.
yeah.
You are we just dropped $200. It's not that much. $200 on candy.
I did just do that. I didn't even think about it.
It's just $200. Like, dude, I'm over here like, that costs $30. I'm paying $30 to give candy away. I'm talking about 30. You're going, it's just $200. It's not that big of a deal.
Well, we do the trunk or treat at our church. You know what we did for this year? So it's our church, and you can't it's gotta be somewhat churchy. And so our thing is pop your trunk and have the candy, but then have a decoration of a saint, inside or whatever.
Uh-huh.
Our family, it's not really she's not our patron saint necessarily, because we're not that important of a family. But if we were to have one, Saint Olga would be our patron saint. And if anyone here is Catholic or Orthodox or whatever, we ask Saint Olga to pray on the intercession of everyone in Russia, Middle East, and that whole awful area over there. But she was in old Ukraine. Back in the, way back. And everyone she was the queen of this big area, and everybody wanted to marry her, for a consolidate power base or whatever. So they'd send, groups of, here's the prince with a whole group of men.
Had a little Princess Jasmine thing going on, huh?
Sort of, except she didn't want to get married. She was very independent and wanted to run her own thing. So she invited them in for dinner and then beheaded all of them. No. And then had a group and then sent a note back saying, yeah, your people never made it. And then another group sent a group of people in, and she told them no, and then sent them back with gifts. And those gifts caught on fire eventually, and they all burned to death. She just brutally killed thousands of people because she desperately wanted to stay single. But she ended up converting Kyiv, in Ukraine. She ended up, back when it was just a little area, but she ended up converting it to Catholicism, and that earned her a sainthood. So we decorated our trunk with some body, paper mache body parts and fire looking stuff, and people were like, what's this? And we're like, Saint Olga. the most metal of all saints.
The most Halloween of all saints out there, man. That's interesting. No, we don't go to the Catholic churches over here. When we do the trunk or treat, it's usually at a Protestant church, and they don't do that at all.
No. Well, they don't do the saints thing. So
no, but even their trunk decorations, they're not even decorating stories from the Bible or anything like that. This is they're not doing the insane clown posse killer clowns thing. That's not what's happening, right? But it is more here's the superhero car, and here's we're going fishing, and we're going to make it look like a fishing thing, or stupid stuff like that, which is just, it's corny and cheesy, but you know what? It's safe. Usually, you feel safe going with your kids. It's probably because here's the other thing as a parent today, I don't necessarily feel comfortable letting my kids just go.
Right.
Which means I got to go with them.
Exactly.
And if I got to go with them, you know what? I don't want to walk all across this neighborhood.
My mother-in-law comes, and so my daughter gets it great. I go out and do a round with her, and then my mother-in-law comes, and we hang out, and then she goes and takes her on a much larger circle around, and so my daughter basically gets 2 in the neighborhood at the same time.
How long does that take her to go around?
She'll go around, I'd say she's out for an hour and a half, maybe up to 2 hours.
Wow.
Yeah, I think it was about 2 hours this last year. As she gets older, it's a little longer, but we're in this just total subdivision, tract home, newer development area where it's just house, and all of them have kids, and all of them are super into it. There's multiple houses that set up like.
Are they doing good candy? Are they doing like the full size bars? Or
We have a couple full size places.
Yeah.
We have talked about trying to become one of those places, but I mean, as you just said, we're already skirting that line apparently.
Yeah.
I'm handful guy though. Like when I do the candy out, like you have the ones who are like, oh, here's your little fun size. I'm like, nope, I'm taking a handful out of the bowl and throwing.
I gotta be honest. I don't want a full size candy bar for Halloween.
Exactly. I want all
I
the variety.
want the snack. I want to give me this one little bit so I can then grab that and then go away.
Mhm.
Like I don't need a full 300 calorie candy bar or whatever it is.
I love that you care. I don't care. Like I should, but I'm just like,
Right.
I just don't want all this flavor. You know, if I want if I want a lot of Snickers, I'll pop 2 of the snack size ones in at the same time. There you go. I got that. And then I'm gonna wash it down with a Baby Ruth, and that's great. Like, yeah.
Okay, so you guys do this for Halloween. Now it's Christmas time or whatever. How does your neighborhood do Christmas? Like,
So
does everybody go all? Because you sound like a neighborhood that goes all out. Like, does everybody go all out, or how does that work?
We have a couple, not really. We have a couple houses that go all out. But the thing is, like, oh God, I almost feel like we all hire people to come and do our lights, and like they're all like,
You don't,
yeah,
Jeff. I did that for the first time this past year
yeah, it's great
because I got bougie.
It's just awesome. It's so great because literally you're just like, hey, I want to do this. I want to do this. Like, yeah, we can do that. It costs you this much. And then you wait like 30 minutes. They're so fast.
They are.
And then boom, it's done. And then I plug it into my smart outlet outside and I can control when they turn off and on from my phone. And it's just, it's great. But so there's like, I'd say not quite half of the houses go pretty full. And the ones that don't though do one of the things like we'll do for almost all the holidays, a lot of the houses, we change our porch lights. You know, so like in March, people will have green porch lights for like St. Patrick's Day. And then here around Christmas time, people do red and green, you know, for stuff or whatever. So, I mean, there's at least some lighting going on that's kind of fun. But people, like, this is the place, our neighborhood are the ones that the families tend to travel to because that's where all the kids are.
Right.
So there's a lot of traffic, a lot of people around and stuff. But our big thing that we do for Christmas, we always like is, because my wife and I we're in the choir for the church. She sings and she plays the keytar for it, and then I play the drums. And
You have a keytar?
yeah, we're pretty cool. And but so we do that around 5 o'clock, and then we go home. We eat breakfast for dinner.
Right.
And then,
Yeah, we do that too.
Oh, cool.
We do
Yeah,
that too.
I think it's the best thing. And then we open one present.
We do that at my mom's house. We go to
Okay.
my mom's house. We do that at mom's house. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the best. Do that. We open one present, and then we go to bed. Then we get up, and then Christmas is a whole thing with the kid. And this was our first year where both my parents were gone, and so that's still
yeah.
it's still a thing, a little bit. I'm still, in fact, even thinking about it, it's like whoa, but yeah, I mean it was fine. It was still fine, but this year we didn't have to go anywhere. You know, like my in-laws came here and.
Right.
So
don't they live in another country?
No, they emigrated from
okay.
Well, actually, she was a refugee. They were refugees from Lebanon, but they just live, I don't know, 15 minutes down the road from us now. Yeah.
Yeah. We usually, I mean, and we did it this year too. We do a Christmas Eve service, right? And we go to that. And then after that, we go to my mom's house, where like she does the breakfast for dinner thing, right? And then we take over the gifts and we do all the gifts for the grandparents.
Okay. Yeah.
Over there, right? And so the kids get to do that. Now, my wife always wants us to come home and do something for each other that night. And I'm like, we just did all that. Let's not. And by the way, let's get the kids in bed.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to be up late.
Got work to do. Santa has to work late.
Santa's got to work tonight, baby. I believe in Santa. I know he exists. My kid's like, Dad, have you ever met Santa? I'm like, yep.
Yeah, more often than you can imagine. We do, you know, and I'll do a shameless plug here for my church, rcparish.org. I think we post it here, probably be up in a week. But our music guy, he's one of the most incredible jazz pianists I've ever worked with in my life.
Okay.
I'm a pretty fair, like I'm a rock and metal guy, but I'm a fair jazz drummer, and we actually farm in a bass player who has an upright bass and does jazz. And so we do the Charlie Brown Christmas as like before mass, you know, it's like as a prelude. So we usually do, I think we did 4 or 5 off of it this time. So if you're into the Charlie Brown Christmas, and and that whole jazz kind of a thing for stuff. It was really good, and that's going to go up on the website. And then we do the the Christmas mass and do all that, and that's more traditional. But the Charlie Brown Christmas stuff is pretty great. I love when I can bust out the brushes and just go pretty crazy on the and getting the stuff. But it's fun to play.
I'm a sound guy. I'm an audio guy.
Yeah.
By training and by trade. And I'm not in that particular church now, but in the past I have been in one of these big churches that have all the fun toys, and they have all the musicians that can just do everything, man. And watching some of these people like take these old Christmas songs and like just rock out with them. I'm like, this is cool. This is fun.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you're like, oh, church. I'm like, yeah, this is Christmas Eve. It's kind of like a party, man. Like this is what we're supposed to do. Like, it's a celebration. Anyway,
it is. We got to have fun.
And here's the thing, you know what we're doing this year, what we did this year, which has been really cool. I guess it's over now, is we celebrated Hanukkah this year.
Really?
We're not Jewish, but we celebrated Hanukkah because we joined this past year the local JCA, the Jewish Community Alliance here in Jacksonville, and they're basically the YMCA, only run by Jewish people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like I had to ask someone, like, so I'm not Jewish, am I allowed to join? And they're like, yes, you're fine. So they had this thing where, like, obviously it's a lot of stuff about Hanukkah, and like I just mentioned to one of the people there one day, I was like, I'm not Jewish, but I'd really be interested to find out what this is and celebrate, because I like celebrating stuff. And they're like, you can. I was like, really? I'm allowed? Really? And they're like, yeah. So there is a Jewish family, and we went over like every night for like 8 days, like leading up to Christmas.
Yeah.
And we joined them for, the lighting the menorah, and they read a prayer, and they give gifts like every night. Like my kids were like, we do this for 8 days. Like they get a little bit better each night as you go on, and
yeah,
and like my son, he's like, Dad, is this going to take away from the presents we get under the Christmas tree? I was like, yeah, it is.
Right. He's like, are we robbing Peter to pay Joshua? See what I did there?
I did. I got it.
That's cool. No, I think it's such a great experience for people. I think that's a great thing I love about so many religions now compared to hundreds of years ago, but they are so much more open, and it is important to celebrate them. My wife's family is from Lebanon, so a lot of them are Muslim, and so we celebrate half of Ramadan every year. And I say half because they fast for half the day and then feast the other half. We show up for the feast, but but it's just a really great time to connect, and have food and just hang out with great people. We celebrate different religions, but we believe a lot that, essentially just being good people. And, we talk about how to be good people, and it's just neat to, and I think especially for your kids to be able to have that and learn a tradition, that's literally foundational to the Western world.
Well, where I think it really started with me was actually in this show. Remember that season 1 episode we did with Rabbi Yosel or something
TKO,
like that?
Yeah.
And then we got connected on Twitter with Rabbi, I'm blanking on his name.
I can't remember his name.
Joseph? Rabbi.
I bet you I've got it because we've been messaging, right? Off and on.
Right.
Here we go. Real time Twitter.
There you go. Because we're still on YouTube right now, Jeff.
I know.
I don't know if you're going to cut this part out of the video. We've said we don't cut it. So
I'm not going to. No.
I don't think if you're still watching this, just say put it down there. Like, happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas, happy Ramadan, happy whatever. I'm going to miss them all. I'm going to stop, but say whatever and just say happy, like right now.
Just put it there. Rabbi Josh Uter.
Yeah. He's awesome.
He is super
by
cool.
the way.
And a huge Babylon 5 fan. In fact, he might be one of the people watching or listening right now.
Right. So what's up, Rabbi? But it was from like just kind of listening to him and following him. It really, honestly, it inspired me to speak up at the Jewish Community Alliance. Wow. Like, because they have their rabbis there and their people that are there as well. And I was just like, can I talk? Can we just be, and Like, yeah, absolutely.
That's awesome.
You know?
That's awesome.
So super cool people. And I'm like, the world should be like this. This is how we should just be.
It's
like,
exactly what happened with Delenn and Sheridan.
Exactly.
Like, yeah.
And with that, Jeff, you've just brought this whole thing around. So YouTube, that's where we're going to sign off. You got the bonus show for an extra 30 minutes or whatever this has been. By the way, this is how podcasting works, is however long your show is, you have to tack on at least 2 more hours, 1 hour to each side, because this is what happens.
Yeah, you can ask our wives. They'll definitely tell you.
Right.
Next, our next episode, when we're here next time, will be right after New Year's, right? So I want to say happy holidays to everybody. When you celebrate New Year's, please be safe. Have a good time. Celebrate. World's rough, right? There's a lot of stuff to focus on that's not awesome. Try to find things that are awesome to focus on. Let's celebrate the stuff that's out there worth celebrating. I celebrate all of you. I celebrate all of you. It's so great that, especially those of you that are still here watching this.
Right. Yes. Well said, Jeff. With that, guys, like, subscribe, do all that sort of stuff. Merry whatever holiday you celebrate, and we'll see you in the new year. Bye, guys.